What's up, everybody? This is Erica from the Classy Climb blog. Coming to you today. I had to do this video. I know some of you won't like it, but you'll get over it. 3 reasons why most Blacks are not wealthy. And guess what one of my answers is not going to be? Racism. No! Yep, that's not one of my answers off the bat. Okay, so here we go. 3 reasons, and I'm going to break them down fully. 1 is others. Others. Now, what do you mean? What do you mean, Erica? Others. Other people, other stuff, other attention. When I say others, I know people who got great jobs, make a lot of money, but they've got a broke mom, a broke dad, a broke sister, a broke brother. Now they're giving money to dad. They're giving money to mom. They're giving money to cousin. They're giving money to sister. They're bailing cousin out of jail so he doesn't stay in jail because he's got little kids. They need his help. They are going on cruises, they're going on vacations, but when they come back, stuff is tight, no one to help them. So sometimes they use credit cards or they use different loans. They're helping too many others before helping themselves. And trust me, I know a doctor. She's the only one in her whole family making over $100,000 a year, but she has student loan debt to this day still. She's almost 42. Her husband makes good money. She's been helping her family since she left medical school. She helps mama, she helps brother, she helps cousin. So you would think, man, she's a doctor and her husband's a freaking lawyer. They make bank. No, they don't. They have a lot of debt. They talk about it. They really literally had to put a foot out and say, no, family, no more. We can't help you because we're getting behind and we're wealthy professionals. I'm making 100 grand, she's making 100 grand, but we're paying out at least 30 grand a year helping family. So others. Now, another case of the others is I know a guy who's been a manager making $60K a year. Every year we like, hey man, won't you go buy a house? Won't you go invest your money? Won't you go buy some stock? Won't you go do all these things? He's like, well, I'm doing better than most. Well, if you're comparing yourself to your brother or your sister who have a lot of kids out of wedlock and aren't really doing well for themselves, yeah, you are the prize kid in the house. I even have friends who, we've been out of college 10 years now. I'm going on 33, getting ready to turn 33. And the guy is living at home still. And he's like, well, I'm doing better than my siblings. But you live at home for 10 years. For 10 years, you should be wealthy beyond belief. You should have your car paid off. You should have no debt. So what I call it is a case of the others. You see that other person and I'm doing better than them. You see that other person, well, I'm making better than them. And that's really not how it should happen. 1, you shouldn't be overlending to your family. 2, you shouldn't be looking around saying, well, I'm doing better than them. But are you competing with yourself? Are you giving yourself the best? Now, 2, people are going to, this is the real number. Everybody's going to say, this is the real reason, Erica. Low income. Look, we have 35,000 African-American millionaires, and that's not even counting sports people. That's not even counting the sports guys. That's just Black business ownership. Let's kick it on another level. We have 2.7 million African-American owned firms that put out over $103 billion in receipts a year. So there's money being made at over 2.7 million firms. All right. But what happens is a lot of the other people, if they're not in a great profession, they got some college loan debt, they're making under $50,000 a year. The average American is making under $50,000 a year. The average African-American male is making $38,000 a year. These, of course, averages. You know, some of the numbers are way better. A lot of Black guys I know, truck drivers, military guys, they're making bank. But average African-American woman is $33,000. So when I talk about investing, they're already at a disadvantage, especially if they have any kids. If they have any college loan debt, you're talking about $2,500 a month. And then you're not even talking about how much is coming out in taxes. Now, the reason I talk about low income this way is some people get stuck in a trap. Now, this is what I mean when they get stuck in a trap. I work at H&R Block for many years, and every year I'll see the same people, same exact people coming in and getting 2 grand, 3 grand, 4 grand, 5 grand. I've seen people get 8 grand year after year, and they're in the same situation next year. Talk to them. Well, Erica, you know, I had to pay up my rent. Well, you know, I almost lost my car, so I had to buy a new car. So that means you have a repossession on your credit, and now you have a new car. Why didn't you just buy a used car that you could pay cash? Stuff like that. Or, you know, my kids, or I need to go on this trip with our family. And so it's like they're stuck in this low income rut, waiting on refund tax time, and it really doesn't help them. They never kind of get ahead. And I only know one great case of a woman who she got $8,000 that year. She bought a little cheap $35,000 house in Fayetteville. Next year she came back, got 10 grand because she did have 3 kids, and she actually switched careers. She's a real estate agent. Then bought a bigger house the next year. right? Rent the first house out. Third year she came. That's the last time I saw her at HR Block. I think she went and got a professional person to do her stuff. Went and bought the next house. So 3 years in a row, she bought a house with her tax or income tax. She made sure she used her money wisely. In 3 years, her life is completely different. Her 3 sons go to one of the best schools in Fayetteville. They're all, the youngest is still in high school, but the other 2 have already graduated. They're going on to college. Now they can look back at their single parent mom who was like unemployed, having this rough time. All of a sudden, now she owns 2 rental properties and has a great house she's going to be retiring in, per se, right? So it's not that everyone has low income. That's just not true. I know tons of Black engineers. I know Black people who do well in finance and real estate. It is a case of one the others, helping out mama, helping out brother, helping out family, because they're so poor, you're pulling them up. You're trying to save people from bad decisions. And then you're looking around going, well, I'm going better than most. No, you should be wanting to do better. So the income is not only the issue. Okay, third is investing. This is the truth of it. If you look at any research study of the 35,000 millionaires, African-American millionaires, most of them only invest in 2 things: real estate or business. So if they have a great booming business, they take that money and they buy their house and then they buy other rental properties. They only seem to like those 2. And I think they like those 2 because they're hard, tangible, touchable, movable assets, which is great. So whenever you see on TV, oh, white people make 17% more than Black people, that's really not true. You have a lot of people doing well. What they're adding in on that is a house. And when you have white people 17 times more buying homes than African Americans, that's where that comes from. That's investing. 1, house. 2, matching your 401k at work. 3, I did a video called Becoming the Banker. It's on, I'll put the link somewhere in here, but it's called Becoming the Banker. Look it up on my channel. You can start with $5 on Robinhood app and stocks, getting dividend stocks back, monthly dividend stocks back. You can start with $25 on Lending Club and become the bank. I'm making 13% interest off Lending Club right now with the notes I've been putting away. I tell you the story all the time of when I got injured at work. My appendix almost ruptured, and it was a $46,000 surgery. I was working at an apartment complex and delivering pizzas at night. I put my money away in bank statements for 6 months in advance, bank certificates, and I put my money in Lending Club. So while I was down, I was being paid. I was being paid from bank certificates that were 3 months out and 6 months out. I was being paid from Lending Club. I was being paid from, stock market dividends. They weren't the hugest, but they were there. They were enough for me to go, oh, wow, this is really where it's at. So another reason is insurance. There's a lot of I hate to say it like that, but my white friends who mom and dad helped them with their insurance from 21 to 31. Because there's some insurance policies, if you're putting $500 to $900 down a month, which is a lot of money, and 10 years later, you can draw out $20,000 to $50,000 for the next 20 years. So insurance is important. We see all these GoFundMes, these sad accounts of kids begging, my mom died and I don't have any money. That's the worst thing I've ever seen in my damn life. It's the saddest shit. Life insurance is $40. I'm not even talking about investing in all these annuities and these other things, but like I've seen, my father died 10 years ago, actually over 10 years ago. And I've seen people whose parents have died and they're still living off the annuities their fathers have left them. They just put, their dad or mom put a few more extra dollars into insurance and life insurance for them, and they have been able to have money come in at just $1,000 a month for years, just $500 a month for years. Do you know how many people lost their homes to foreclosure because they were short by $500? That was the average foreclosure documents, that they were short $500. So, it depends on how do you want your children to remember you? How do you want them to live? Do you want them to be struggling for the rest of their life? No. So $40, $50, making sure your kid has a payout is not that high. So again, the 3 reasons: others, low income, investing. Now, when I hit back on the touch of the low income, a lot of people say, well, Erica, I can't find a job where I am. And I've talked to many young people and I remember I was working at Papa John's, and Papa John's was giving me about $2,000 a month. And I was working at an apartment, and they were like, well, you already make $2,500 from apartment complexes. Why do you want to work Papa John's? I said, the first job is to live. The second job is to get get ahead, was to get more money in my pocket, was to get opportunity to buy a house, was to get opportunity to pay off my card. You know, you don't have to do it forever, but I'm meeting a lot of young people who will work one job, Jimmy John's or Papa John's or at a grocery store, HEB, and then they just don't have incentive to work any harder because their bills are covered. When really, if they focus for maybe a year or two to pay down at least their college debt or pay off their car, do you know the difference of having a paid off car versus a car payment? The average car payment in America is $500. I know a lot of people paying for BMWs at $800 a month. Plus you're putting on insurance. So you're kicking out $1,000 a month in insurance and car payment. We're not even talking about gas. So it's just this one moment where you're looking at people and going, this is why you're not wealthy. You know, there are Asian and Hispanic people donating and putting away 20-30% of their income a month. And everybody will say, well, Erica, racism. I'm like, I'm not going to give you that out. Even if you have to work as a janitor, even if you have to work at a fry cook, even if you have to work at somewhere you don't like, you can put the money where you want. Now, let's say you're like, Erica, I just refuse to work at those places. Well, listen, Julio and Hector, when they come to America, they being CEO of everything. And a lot of times Julio and Hector get that lawnmower, get that pickup truck and start knocking them doors. They start knocking them doors. They go get a skill that's tangible. If more people got trades, making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year, it wouldn't be a blink. It wouldn't be this huge thing. I know truck drivers making $80,000 a year. A lot of them are owner operator, and they can make up to $100,000. You know, they're doing $1, $2 a mile. You know, the guy who's making 40, 50, 60 cents a mile is a guy who's driving the company truck. You know, he doesn't have his own truck, those type of things. Those guys are making less, of course. But the guy making $1, $2, he's an owner operator. He could go buy more trucks with his business credit and release those out to other truck drivers. So look, there's many ways we can hit this on the hammer. I know everybody, people are gonna say, Erica, there's racism. Okay, I'm gonna give you that. But racism is not stopping you from reading a book. Racism is not stopping you from going to the library. Racism is not stopping you from starting your own thing, you know, washing cars. You know, there's a story I like to share with everybody about, you know, racism is real. I believe you, but it doesn't stop you. In the 1990s and 2000s, all the banks were giving out crazy loans to barbershops and hair salons and just kept giving those out only to those. So Black people got smart. And there were all these Black people who got barbershops and hair salons. And they used the extra money to do what they originally wanted to do anyway, which was either a food store or real estate. And the banks got smart to it. They're like, all these guys with barbershops and hair salons, these women with hair salons are owning lots of real estate and owning lots of other things after our loan. Yeah, because there's a million ways to skin a cat. There's a lot of African-American people right now getting $20,000, $30,000 in credit card debt and telling me, Erica, I don't have access to banks to start my own side business. Well, it's on the side. It's on the side. Use that commercial credit card to do that and use it as a write-off. I've talked about it in my other videos. If you're a sole proprietor and you're using a personal credit card, you can write that off. Of course, you want to be in LLC mode. Of course, you want to be a C Corp. I get it. But you must start somewhere. And we can't use the same excuses. Now, there's going to be a lot of people who watch this video and say, Erica, you don't know where I'm from and all these things. I got you, boo. I hear you. But you know how we change those things? We start sharing these type of videos on Facebook. We share these videos wherever we can. We have enough negative, terrible, trashy things coming on Facebook. Share some positivity. Share some ways to increase your wealth. Share some ways to invest. Now, I even told you, I'm trying to finish out the book about investing outside of Wall Street, where it's just basically lending club from your phone, you know, land and metals. You know, I love buying silver every week when I get a check. You know, if I get money from some of my online sites, I buy a little silver bar, and put it away. Why? Because you never know. You have a tangible asset right in front of you, stocked away. Silver bars. I don't have any gold bars. I can't mess with gold. It's too high right now. But silver bars, yes. Lending club, land, which you can turn around and do anything on. Man, you can put RVs on it. You could put trailers on it. You could do a lot of things. So I'm tired of the excuses. I'm tired of the, oh, you don't understand. Listen, I know it sucks sometimes working jobs you may not like or you may not think highly of, but do you know the fastest way to get out of them is taking the money you do have and creating a way out. So look, Again, home ownership, land, silver, lending club, prosper, all those things. To me, one of the quickest ways, if I was working and I wanted a little bit more freedom, I would own a fourplex. If I was a family guy, just to go own a duplex or a fourplex. So someone else is paying that rental bill. Then I can move on and go to the next property. So everybody, this is Erica, Classy Climb Blog, 3 reasons why African Americans or blacks, however you want to say it, are not wealthy. Most aren't, but there are a lot who are. Let's make sure we clear that and end the video on that. There's a lot of people making money, but there's a lot of people buying BMWs, buying fancy cars, helping family out, kind of being in this struggle with spending the money and not investing it. So you guys have a great day.